Hello and greetings to you on this beautiful late summer's day. I'm speaking to you from Israel, and I am hoping to speak to all of you throughout our planet Earth, the third rock from the sun. My name is Anthony Altman. Today is the 4th of September, 2024, and the title of this video is The Untouchables. A few weeks ago, I was watching with my wife a very old episode of The Untouchables with Elliot Ness, actor being Robert Stack. If you remember the 1920s, Al Capone and all that. And I just realized that the reason, and I never knew this before, that the reason they were called untouchables was because they were incorruptible. That particular part of the police force, they were not corrupt, and nobody could bribe them or intimidate them or corrupt them. So they were called the Untouchables. And I have been thinking about this for a while, and I feel that it would make a really wonderful title for a video, because at this present moment on planet Earth, we are faced with and are experiencing, excuse me, try to adjust this a little bit better. Probably the most dangerous, devastating, existential threat we have received as a humanity on this planet in our modern history. This existential threat, comma, I say comma, I don't know why I said that. My mind's going in about 5 different directions, and I'm thinking I'm typing a letter. Or maybe I'm just going like, which is also possible. Most people do not even appreciate that we are experiencing a serious existential threat to our very survival as a humanity. Most people are just doing what the ostriches do, bury their head in the sand and hope that it'll go away. And unfortunately, that just allows the threat to become worse. And when you look at conditions around the planet, if you have any ability to think critically and to observe and to perceive what's going on, the entire planet, humanity, life on this planet as we know it, is under a huge existential threat. Existential meaning that it is quite possible, actually, the way things are at the moment, it is probable that we will have a 6th mass extinction of the human race. I do not really believe at this time that the consequences of what humanity has allowed to happen can be avoided. When you make a decision and you perform an action, the universe accommodates, that's creation, accommodates itself to and makes the appropriate adjustments to accommodate your choice, your wish, your intention, which may be consciously made or subconsciously made. It doesn't matter. And it is possible that you've been saying, thinking, and doing the sort of things that encourage the existential threat. And it is possible that many, many, many people are keeping silent when they are to speak, and they are not performing any action at all when they are expected to perform an action in order to safeguard the integrity and the health and the very existence of humanity, all life on this planet, and indeed this planet itself. I mean, it really is important to wake up and realize that it is highly possible that somebody somewhere in America, in Iran, even in Israel, in England, United Kingdom, Russia, could press that nuclear button and we're all toast. And if you look at the asteroid belt in our solar system, you will remember it used to be a planet, and it was blown to smithereens during a rather vicious and nasty war. A lot has been going on that many people are not aware of. They think that out of billions of planets and limitless galaxies, that we are the only intelligent life force. Well, we are a life force. We are human, but not that intelligent. We can't even live together in peace. How intelligent is that? Not really very intelligent. And now we have allowed evil to take hold of this planet, and its grip is so incredibly thorough. I'm not sure that we will be able to extricate ourselves now without huge casualties. And the reason I say this is because the majority of the people, somewhere between 70 and 80%, have already decided to comply with whatever their governments have been telling them. And they had the jabs of the pandemic that passed by recently, and all the other jabs, about which information is emerging that now tells us from the scientists who are opposing the status quo and have decided to demonstrate courage and integrity and are doing their own private research, because you cannot trust the research of governments anymore. And they are now discovering the damage caused by what they say now are from all the vaccines, all jabs. Everything is suspect. And until we know the truth, it is best to refrain. What is the truth? Very few people know the truth. And when people start talking about the truth as they see it, they are ridiculed, condemned, rejected out of hand, and called conspiracy theorists. Well, there's no theory. There is a conspiracy, but it's not what you think. The conspiracy is to establish an existential threat and to follow through with it that will cause the demise of the majority of humans on this planet. And if you look at the news and go to the alternative news, like the People's Voice .tv, band.video, and a few others that I have just found recently. Signs of the Times, SOTT.net, SOTT.net. The Corbett Report, Corbett, CORBETT report.com. And there's a number of others, but I like the Corbett Report and the Signs of the Times. There's many others. Alternative, Under the Table, Hidden, because everybody's being censored, attacked. Well, why is everybody who wishes to say something censored or attacked? Because somebody doesn't want that information to be heard by anybody. When somebody is censored, that action has to be a demonstration that something is required to remain hidden or obscured. Well, I believe in free speech, free press, free everything. And if I don't like what I'm hearing, I can switch it off. And I don't want other people to tell me what I can hear or not hear, read or not read. What happens if they're a bit evil-minded or dysfunctional or psychopathic? Then I'm going to live my life according to their dictates. Well, everybody has their choice. So I make my videos and I do my best to word it all in such a way that it's not too outrageous, because I don't want to give people the wrong idea or give people the right idea and then they don't want me to talk about it. So this video, The Untouchables, is really asking, it's a call to action, really. It's asking people to become untouchable. You see, the more people who wake up and become untouchable, the more survivors we're going to have, and possibly the existential threat that we are experiencing will have less severe consequences, perhaps. One thing I do know is that if you just sit there listening to what rubbish we're being told and do nothing and say nothing, we will not be around for very much longer. And if we want to be around longer, and we want to create a life that's worth living for ourselves and our children, then we are to become untouchables. So how do we do this? Well, I'm referring to what Gautam Siddhartha, otherwise known as the Buddha, told us 2,500 years ago. Yeah. All these problems and issues and challenges have been going on for thousands of years, and we have an opportunity now to stop it, to change it, to improve it once and for all, at least during this cycle. So I would like to talk to you about what Buddha said about the eightfold path. Eightfold path. Number one, he said right view, which is right perception, right observation in my mind. Number two is the right resolve, which I see is right choice and right intention. 3, right speech. Yes. Speaking words that uplift, that inspire and motivate ourselves and others, and not to cause damage. Life-supporting speech. Number 4, right action. Life-supporting action. 5, the right livelihood. Doing what you love and love what you're doing, and not doing it purely for the money, because if you work only for money, you will do anything for money. And that livelihood might actually damage other people because you don't care. You're just making money. If you do what you love and you love what you do, money does come. And let's be honest, money is not everything. You cannot buy good health with money. You cannot buy happiness with money. You cannot buy a good marriage and a family with money. I thought I could, and I did that. And I learned some huge lessons because I failed miserably. It doesn't work. You've got to be yourself, your true and authentic self, and do what you love and love what you do for your highest good and the highest good of all others, and money comes. Excuse me. Number 6, right effort. I'm not sure how to describe that because I don't see life as an effort. It is an effort. Struggling. I have done that, and I have learned that there's a better way. And the better way is to develop more of my own innate human potential and to develop more of my own innate consciousness, and then flow. Make choices, make an intention, set the wheels in motion, and then allow creation to take care of the details. As I have now done the groundwork, so to speak. Set the stage, set the energy, and then flow. Flowing is very good. Flowing with a flowing river is much easier than swimming against the current, which is effort. So I'm not sure what Buddha said there. If you have any thoughts about this, number 6, right effort, please let me know. Number 7, right mindfulness. Now, mindfulness, in my mind, excuse the pun, incorporates meditation, because that's basically what mindfulness is, except it's different to meditation. It's developing the ability to be consciously aware of what's going on in your body, in your mind, and around you. To be mindful, full of mind that you choose, not that it just comes from other people or just from wherever, movies. It's thoughts that you choose to have. What do you want to be mindful about? So mindfulness of the body, of our thoughts, of our intentions, our choices. And when you extend that to meditation and you practice a formal technique of meditation, you allow the mind to go where it really wants to go, and that is to its source. Everybody wants to go to its source, really, deeply. But most people don't, because they superimpose over this natural tendency to stay where they are and do what they don't like doing, and apply all sorts of rules and regulations, learned beliefs, learned patterns of behavior, learned programming that are not really that life supporting. And we learned all this from our parents, our schools, where we were educated, the social system, wherever there is a system or any interaction with other humans, we are conditioned. And by the time we are 7 or 8 years of age, we are fully programmed. So a meditation, formal technique of meditation, allows the mind to go where it really wants to go, and that's the source of thought. And on its way to the source of thought, pleasant things start to happen, and releasing stress and releasing trauma and drama that we've accumulated throughout this life and other lifetimes. And when you are able to reach the source of thought, this is where the magic happens. This is how enlightenment is developed. This is how consciousness is developed. This is how the greater human potential, that is our divine right, our heritage as human beings, is developed. And then number 8, the last one, is right concentration. Again, I'm not quite sure what he means by that, Buddha, but I guess concentrating is when you are focused on something. And if you are really deeply focused on something, what is it? Is it money? Is it power? Is it domination of others? Is it life damaging to yourself, or to others? If you were focused on life supporting issues that were good for you and good for other people and good for the planet, I would say that this is right concentration. And then Buddha talked about the Four Noble Truths. And this is a very, a subject I'm very interested in, because I've spent so many years doing what I can to help people realize what suffering is and how to relieve their suffering. And I've been actually doing this for myself, and I have actually been reasonably successful and still working on it. So the Four Noble Truths are, number 1, the truth of suffering. What is suffering? What is the cause of suffering? Most people have no idea. They blame circumstances and other people. It all comes from inside ourselves, our suffering. Definitely. Usually as a result of learned beliefs, learned limiting beliefs, learned limiting patterns of behavior, and learned programming, limiting programming that we have adopted from other people that are actually not doing us any good, killing us, causing us great pain and sacrifice and suffering. Number 2, the truth of the cause of suffering, which I guess is the same as no, the truth of suffering is what it really is. And the next one is the truth of the cause of suffering, which I've just described. And number 3 is the truth of the end of suffering, which is highly possible if you are just willing to go there, to start choosing that particular direction. And I have a lot more to say about this, because my life has been nothing but suffering, but not anymore. It's much better. So I have a lot to offer people if they are interested, if you are interested in knowing how to relieve your suffering. I cannot say that I'm going to relieve your suffering, because that's your job. What I can do is provide you with information that may be helpful to you to help yourself relieve your suffering. And number 4, the truth of the path that leads to the end of suffering. Now, these are truths for you to find all these answers, and I would be happy to assist you if I can. And then Buddha talked about the 3 poisons: greed, hatred, ignorance of self, ignorance of one's authentic, true self. Because if you don't know your authentic, true self, you don't know anything. So if we could dwell upon these points with the idea to develop the ability, the innate ability for us to be untouchable. Nobody can corrupt us. Nobody can bribe us. Nobody can dominate us. To become untouchable is a person who is willing to take full responsibility for the reality that they are experiencing in this life, and that the reality they're experiencing is not created by somebody else or something else or lack of it, because there is no such thing as luck. There is only synchronicity, a concept developed by Carl Jung, the famous psychologist who was highly spiritual. Nothing and nobody outside of yourself causes your suffering or causes you pain. Everything that you are experiencing comes directly from within yourself, dependent upon how you think and what you think, what patterns of behavior you have adopted, and what programming is running your life. If you don't like the way your life is being experienced, change it. How do you do that? I have many, many videos. This, I think, is number 90 on YouTube. Listen to my YouTube. Listen to all the other people. Greg Braden, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza. There's many, many more. They have much more information than I have in a different way. And I also have information that can be helpful. But ultimately, the responsibility of your life, your happiness or suffering, all depends upon you and nobody else. Take responsibility for your life. And if you do that really well, you will find liberation in one way or another. I cannot emphasize enough that if and when more people are able to start developing their greater potential and their consciousness, start their own self-healing, start taking full responsibility for themselves, their thoughts, their words, their actions, or silence and non-actions, to take responsibility for the reality they are experiencing in this life, we as a humanity stand a greater chance of more survivors. And maybe together we will increase the survival rate quite significantly. And we can help that darkness recede and bring in more light, more divine light, more divine love, more divine compassion, more divine peace, more divine harmony. This is the way. Thank you so much for joining me on this road less traveled. Until next time, thank you very much.